issues last night for my track meeting.
I wasn't sure it was gonna work.
Oh, I was up here at 3:30 yesterday for track, making sure it was all set, because usually it doesn't start until 4:30. Yay! No issues. So we just need one more for quorum. Oh, thank you. We only have one regret that our city councilor Caputo was in an all-day workshop today with a number of other city councilors and staff. So that was the. Oh, wait, what's Sarah? Oh, Sarah's here. Yep. So we have four.
So it is 12 o'clock exactly. So I will call the meeting to order. I would like to acknowledge with respect that we are in Robertson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe known as Wawading. Wawading is the home of the Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. So first off, we have the adoption of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to go through them? If there are no issues, can I have a motion to adopt the minutes as presented? I will. Okay, please. And a seconder. Sarah. Okay, all in favor? Good. And any declaration of pecuniary interests? No, okay. Next we have the adoption of the agenda. Is there any additions, changes? All good. Okay. If so, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Sarah, and seconded by Ginny. And then we have business arising. So we have the designated property grant from Kensington Terrace. So yes, that is the replacement of the roof on Upton House. So we went and we looked at all the buildings, and the roof does look much better than it did before. So you could actually see some of the before pictures in some of the previous minutes we had. I think
Yeah, it was in September's package.
yeah. So they are much better now. And so does anybody have any questions about that? So if there are no issues, we do have a motion. And it's resolved that the Sault Ste. Marie Municipal Heritage Committee approve payment of a grant for $15,000 to the Algoma Condominium Corporation number 6 for the roof replacement at Kensington Terrace.
I'd like to move.
Okay, so we have Alex as the mover, and can I get a seconder? That's Sarah, and all in favor? Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then next we have the designated property grant for the cenotaph. So we also took a look at the cenotaph. There was before and after pictures in September's one as well. And the work does look much better. The stone has been cleaned very well because there was staining from the letters, which are lead, so they do stain. But they are cared for, and going forward, maintenance will be pretty minimal. So is there any questions with that? I don't think so. So we have the motion, resolved that the Sault Ste. Marie Municipal Heritage Committee approve payment of a grant for $2,604.58 to the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 25 for the restoration of the cenotaph. So can I get a mover for that? We have Tammy. And a seconder we have, let's go with Jamie. Okay, next off, we have the museum bell. Oh, sorry, all in favor? Forgot that one. Okay. All in favor for the cenotaph. Next off, we have the museum bell. So Alex, I will leave it off to you.
Hi, okay, so we've moved the project from Superior. They just didn't have, I guess, the classes to take on that project last year. And this year it's gone over to Cora. Cora has offered to take on the project. They're interested in the construction portion. I've reached out a few times to the lead there, that's Dennis Vi. And so far we have not been able to move forward. The last email correspondence was earlier in September, but they did let us know that they are interested. And that's Cora. Just thinking of timelines. I know, Nicole, maybe there's opportunity to ask the Huron Catholic Board, so maybe St. Mary's or St. Basil's. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say we could definitely reach out to them. Can you get something to St. Mary's, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I'll reach out to the school board and do sort of a general survey, and then Lise will reach out to St. Mary's directly.
Excellent. That sounds good. Yeah, it would be nice to move ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. So is there any other questions about that? Okay, now we are moving on to the subcommittee and task updates. First off, we have the heritage booklet and videos tours. There's been nothing new on that front.
I am still working on it. I was pushed back a little bit this month with our inspections, but I'm still working on it. Do we have a meeting for the next booklet?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet? Okay.
So once you think we're ready to schedule a meeting and we have a good draft to look at, then we'll set something up.
Okay. We have a good draft to look at. I work better under pressure, so we'll set up a meeting after this and we'll get it underway. It's just a couple maps that have to be done, so it's very, very close.
Awesome. So I'll send out a doodle poll following the meeting. So I'm gone September 18th to 30th. So I'll try to get something.
October.
Sorry, October 18th to 30th. So I'll try to get something scheduled before I head off on vacation.
Okay, and then we have the heritage trees. So I did see an update today. So Virginia was saying that the students have gone out, photographed all the trees except for the one on Whitefish Island that they couldn't find. So we are just going to go through those pictures now, verify that they got pictures of the right trees, and then see if we can have help directing them to the one on Whitefish.
Yeah, I sent out evaluation sheets, so we have to complete now the scoring for each of those trees. So looking at, is it on private property? Is it on city property? So I've reached out to our GIS specialist upstairs to see if they can assist with identifying which ones are located on each location, because we have measurements and different things that we need to do to include in that tracking sheet and evaluation sheet. So if it is on private property, we are going to have to make sure requested proper permissions, obviously, to look at those trees, and then the ones that are on city property, we can easily without having to go that extra step for that, so.
Sorry, I have a question. Are we able to, if that's a working document, our members on the committee, like myself, I'd be interested in looking at that document. Just that I'm not on that subcommittee, but I'd love to see what's happening on that front.
Yeah. we
Before-
can-
yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, we'll include all the documentation as an update at the November meeting. And then that way we can share it with everybody that's on the committee.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Next we have new business. And first up is the yard blocker designation, so that should be on page 6. You'll see, yeah, they're looking to get it designated. There's details about property. It's value for being designated. And stuff like that. There's the couple pictures as well, and a map of where it is.
And I can give a little bit of background on this. So this originally had been brought forward to city council in September 2022. But at that time, there was some potential developments, so the property owner had asked that the report be pulled from the council agenda at that time. They've since reached out, so just in the last week, prior to the meeting, and asked if they wanted to proceed with the designation. So the report had already been completed by the previous committee. So it's here, and hopefully they had already passed a resolution to bring it forward, but I think this is exciting, getting another one of those properties designated in that area, because they're, you know, it's such a gem in the community, that whole development.
And this one looks in a little bit better condition than the sort of tower building that's
Yeah.
in between this one and the machine shop properties.
Virginia, could I ask a question? Sorry, Nicole. Has there been any conversation about the pulp tower building at all historically?
So that building is owned by someone else. It's not owned by Mr. Porco.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is on the heritage register, but it is something that the committee might want to consider moving forward with.
That was, you read my mind. I'm wondering whether we could, make that a priority. And move forward with that, with a report on that one.
Yeah, well, the other thing I would say is we did have that list that Virginia gave us with all the properties. It might be a good idea, at the November meeting, if we have sort of take all those properties and sort of make it into a list of which ones we think should take priority in the designation, because we are now on a time crunch. It's, what is it?
Okay.
26.
I think it's not extended to 5. Have to extend it to 5, so they have it to 5.
Yeah, we do have a little more. It got extended from the original
Yeah.
date.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
so we have about 5 years now to designate them all?
yeah,
Okay.
3 will be
3 more,
remaining.
like 3 remaining.
Okay.
5 total.
Okay, so we, from that list, we have now 3 years to get them designated, or they will be pulled off the register and then can't be added on for another. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so can't be added on for another 5 years. So if we can go through that list, create a order of priority. And then, like are all the property owners like interested in getting them designated?
They were all, so the consultation that went through, they all received letters.
Okay.
There were property owners that did not want to have their properties listed, and they sent correspondence to the committee and to council.
Okay.
So those properties were not added on to the list.
Okay.
So the level of what their requirements are changes from being listed, because listing only protects you from demolition.
Yes.
So if one of those properties was slated to be torn down, that's the only time the committee would be notified. So now it changes their requirements, so their perspective on it could change, depending on. You know, where they're at, and if the property owners are the same, they may have changed hands in that time frame. So there are definitely properties that ranked very high, and again, they all have to meet those criteria, right, to be designated, so this was just kind of that first look. The criteria to get them on a list is much less than you need to have it designated.
Just that point with the changes that have happened, you now have to at least hit 2 of the criteria.
Okay.
For registering, so.
It's more stringent, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we wanna go through, see how many criteria they listed, and if they're like less than 2, we can leave them at the very bottom, or just take them off.
It's it was just a very brief overview, so there
Okay.
really wasn't a deep dive that was done into each of those properties, so I think. Looking at, you know, that top 3 properties and doing a deep dive into them is probably the best course of action.
So they are sort of already in order of significance.
They were ranked, they were scored,
Okay.
so the Polk Tower being one of the highest
Yeah.
scores of all those properties, it did score the highest, so that one, you know, would be a priority, I think, for the committee.
Yeah, cause then if we can start getting moving forward on those. I think that would be good, so definitely add, the yard locker up there, sort of probably with the Polk Tower. Cause they could probably almost be similar, because they were like, with sort of the same original construction.
Yeah, there'll definitely be similar history just because of the way that the site's located. The yard locker would move through because we do have the resolution from the previous committee. The report's pretty much ready to go, so that would go to the meeting in November when I return, just I won't be at the October 21st meeting. And then I'll add on that whole booklet of all of the properties that are listed with all that background. And then we can have that discussion on which ones we want to move forward to, and then who might want to be assigned to do some of the research to assist with that.
Okay.
So Virginia, could I ask a question? Sorry. So in November, would the next step be to contact the property owners to get their permission for a designation process, or would you go ahead without the owners' involvement?
I think we've always, as a courtesy, always worked with the property owners.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do think that, you know, we'll get that short list done, and then, you know, maybe we'll assign a subcommittee or working group to kind of focus on that. So
Yeah.
that we can kind of continue in between some of these meetings. Just because there is a fair amount of work that will go into preparing designation reports for the ones that we decide to proceed with.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. I would volunteer to be on that committee, by the way.
So, any correspondence?
The correspondence was just related to the yard locker, so.
And then, so our next meeting is November 6th. Same place, same time. Is there any questions before we close up? Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn? So we have Sarah. And seconded by Maddie. All in favor? Okay, perfect.
If anybody would disagree with that.
Yeah.
Have a great day.